The opening shot of the game is a visual of hundreds of Templars and mages headed towards a central location. Suddenly, a large explosion envelops the screen. We cut to our player character in a void of green energy. While exploring the area, you are chased by monsters. In the distance, you see a woman glowing in a bright green light. You reach out to her, but then you suddenly are teleported to the real world and go unconscious. You awaken to find yourself bound in chains. You look down at your hand and it sparks a green, crackling energy. Two women walk into the room and begin to interrogate you. One of them asks why they should not kill you now, as she explains that the conclave was destroyed and everyone who attended it is dead, except for you. They believe you responsible, and their only clue being that you were the only survivor and the green energy sparking from your hand. Your interrogator brings you outside to see what destruction she believes you're responsible for. The sky has been ripped apart and a green energy pulses towards the earth. She calls it the breach, a portal connecting their world to the world of demons. This breach appeared as a result of the explosion at the conclave. The woman explains that every time the breach expands, the mark on your hand expands as well, and it is slowly killing you. She suggests that if you want to prove your innocence, to come with her to the breach, as she believes the two may be connected. On the way, she explains that the conclave was a gathering set up by their leader, Divine Justinia. It was supposed to be a peaceful gathering between Templars and mages, who have been warring against each other. Now, most leaders on both sides have perished in the explosion. Eventually, you come upon a smaller rift and help a dwarf and mage fend off demons. Once the battle is over, the mage grabs your hand and points it at the rift. It closes. You're surprised by this, but you're now aware that you can help with the situation. The two introduce themselves to you. Varric is a dwarf from the city of Kirkwall, who is being brought to Divine Justinia for questioning. Solus is a mage not associated with the Chantry. He was the one who analyzed your mark and kept it from killing you while you slept. He was also the one who came up with the theory that whatever created the breach also marked you. Solus is an apostate mage who regularly explores the Fade, the world where demons and spirits come from. This world is where spellcasters pull their abilities from. An apostate mage is someone who is not part of the Circle of Magi, the official organization in the land that trains mages. These mages are watched and monitored by the Templar Order, as having magic abilities makes a person prone to possession from demons in the Fade. But after the destruction of the Chantry in Kirkwall, all-out war has broken out.
The Grand Cleric cannot help you.
Explain yourself, mage.
I will not stand by and watch you treat all mages like criminal, while those who would lead us bow to their Templar jailers.
How dare you speak to me?
The Circle has failed us, Orsino. Even you should be able to see that. The time has come to act. There can be no half measures. There can be no turning back. Be no peace.
Solus turns to your captor. He reveals her name is Cassandra and mentions to her that the breach is like nothing he's ever seen before. He suggests that you are innocent, as he believes it's unlikely any mage or non-mage to have this much power to cause what he is seeing. She understands, and the party heads to ground zero of the explosion. At the top, echoes of the past begin to play out near the central rift. We can see the image of a shadowy figure binding Divine Justinia. In this vision, Divine Justinia sees you and tells you to run and warn everyone. The flashback ends, but you have no memory of these events. Solus explains that the rift is causing echoes of what happened there, but it is incomplete. He then suggests to reopen and close the rift with the mark in order to properly seal it. Doing this will get the attention of the demons in the rift. A battle breaks out against a horde of demons, and you are successful in sealing it. Once the rift is sealed, you black out. You wake up to a woman tending to you in a room. She explains that it has been 3 days since you closed the rift, and the breach up top has stopped growing. You are then summoned to meet Cassandra at once. You walk into the room as she is arguing with Chancellor Roderick. He wants you taken to the capital of Val Royeaux to have you executed. Cassandra and Spymaster Liliana disregard his nagging, explaining that everyone who survived the explosion is a suspect. Clearly, Divine Justinia had enemies. You are no longer under suspicion, being believed to be a savior sent by the Maker. The people are calling you the Herald of Andraste. Cassandra then exclaims to the Chancellor by throwing down an old tome on the table, claiming it to be a writ from the Divine, granting Cassandra and Liliana the authority to act. Thus, she announces to him that she will revive the Inquisition and vows to seal the breach for good and find out those who were responsible for the massacre, with or without the approval of the remaining members of the Chantry. Liliana explains that the Inquisition was a group of people that banded together to restore order in the world gone mad, many years ago preceding the creation of the Chantry. Afterwards, they eventually laid down their banner and formed the Templar Order, known today. But Cassandra believes the Templar Order has lost its way, and someone else must lead. With no support from the Chantry, and with the mages and Templars at each other's throats, you, Cassandra, and Liliana revive the Inquisition. The Inquisition's first goal is to completely seal the breach once and for all. Solus believes that a second attempt should close it for good, so long as they amass enough magical power for your mark. The same amount of magical power that opened the breach in the first place. In the Inquisition War Room, options begin to be discussed on how to get enough magical power to close the breach. Your war room consists of you and Cassandra, Liliana in charge of intelligence, Josephine in charge of diplomacy, and Cullen in charge of the army. Everyone believes that the best option is to get help from either the Templars or the mages, but having any discussions with them are impossible while the Chantry has publicly denounced the Inquisition as blasphemy and everyone in the organization as heretics. After the first attempt at closing the breach, the people saw the miracle you pulled off, and soon word began to spread that you were the Herald of Andraste. The remaining Chantry members fear the following you're gathering. Liliana suggests you speak to a cleric in the hinterlands that wanted to meet you. Maybe she can help get into better favor with the Chantry. The hinterlands is a war zone between Templars and mages, many citizens getting caught in the crossfire. You meet the cleric and healer, Mother Giselle. She suggests that the Chantry has only ever heard tales of terror of you, and those tales are coming from those who are grandstanding, wishing to become the next divine. She believes that the next best course of action is to head to Val Royeaux and meet with them directly, to show them that you are no monster to be feared. In Val Royeaux, when you arrive, the town is abuzz. You're informed by an Inquisition member that the Chantry Mothers await your arrival, but Templars have arrived to meet you in the market. In the market, a Chantry Mother is found riling up the crowd against you. She tries to sick nearby Templars on you to take you in, but then the Templar leader, Lord Seeker Lucius, arrives and has the mother knocked out. It's a show of strength, as he shows he is the one with the power now, and considers the heretical Inquisition an annoyance at most. Sandra attempts to address the Lord Seeker, but he ignores her and leaves the area. She believes that the Lord Seeker is acting strangely, but it seems like nothing more will be accomplished in Val Royeaux, so you head back. But just before you leave, you're met by the leader of the Mage Rebellion, and she asks you to meet her in Redcliffe. In Redcliffe, you get into contact with the Mage leader, but she has no recollection of setting up a meeting with you. Something is off, as you're informed that the mages are now indentured to the Teventer Empire for protection, and that they must work for them for 10 years to become full citizens with rights. While in Redcliffe, you meet a Teventer mage named Dorian. He warns you of a cult sprouting around Teventer called the Venatori, and word is that they're currently trying to get at the Herald of Andraste. You are now given a choice to either continue investigating the mages and the Venatori, or to continue to gain favor of the Templar Order. No matter the choice, you are helped by either the Templars or mages to finally seal the breach in the sky. But victory is short-lived, as your base is attacked by an army seemingly out of nowhere. An archdemon soars through the sky, and out in the battlefield, you can see the one they call the Elder One, whom the Venatori worship. You are outnumbered and caught by surprise. At most you can do is go down swinging. A wounded Chancellor Roderick tells you of a hidden path not known by anyone but he, as he is the only remaining survivor that would. He believes that it is the will of the Maker giving him a message. Cullen leads the survivors to escape, while you make a last-ditch effort to delay their forces. As you're taking control of the trebuchet, the Archdemon swoops down and entraps you. The Elder One then arrives to meet you face to face. He has been chasing you down to remove the anchor. He holds up a magical orb and attempts to remove your mark. He claims that it is all your fault, that you interrupted his plan that fateful day at the Conclave. But instead of dying, you accidentally took the anchor to the rifts.
I do not know how you survived, but what marks you as touched, what you flail at rifts, I crafted to assault the very heavens. And you used the anchor to undo my work. The Gore. I once breached the Fade in the name of another to serve the old gods of the Empire in person. I found only chaos and corruption, dead whispers. For 1,000 years I was confused, no more. I have gathered the will to return under no name but my own, to champion withered Tevinter and correct this blighted world. Beg that I succeed, for I have seen the throne of the gods, and it was empty.
He is ultimately unsuccessful in taking back the anchor and claims it's permanent. Before he can kill you, you successfully set off the trebuchet, causing a massive landslide. The Archdemon picks up the Elder One and flies away, while you fall into an underground shaft. You eventually make it out of the snowy mountains until you're found by your companions. When you awake, Solus explains that the orb Corypheus carried was of elven make, and it was that which he used to open the rift. Unlocking it must have caused the explosion that destroyed the Conclave. The Elder One's name is Corypheus, a Tevinter mage from long ago. In legend, it is said that the Maker turned its back from the world after the mages peered too far into the Fade. As punishment, the world was beset by the Blight. Corypheus claims that he was one of those mages, and is certain there are no gods in this world, as their seats were empty. Instead, he wishes to make himself a god, and revive the old Tevinter Empire. Solus encourages you to lead the survivors further north, claiming there's a new place they can call home. Morale is low. Many have died. The Inquisition continues to hold out onto hope, continuing to believe in the Herald of Andraste.